It's a garage sale! If you are a regular viewer / Knifewear customer / friend of the shop, you know the deal. The garage sale's coming up. It's 1 week away. If you don't know the deal, here it is. The garage sale is something we do every year. It typically follows our trips to Japan when we go, meet and revisit with all our friends and continue our relationships in Japan with our knife makers that we work with. And essentially what we do is we get all sorts of new, cool, exciting stuff. We get some smoking deals on knives. We get some really new lines that no one's ever seen before, that we haven't had before. We get some really rare, one-of-a-kind stuff that is like crazy hard to get. We just get some, honestly, just kick-ass knives, maybe aren't super rare, but are just awesome. And again, a lot of stuff for a really good price too. So we're gonna run you through kind of our top picks that have showed up so far. Knives are still coming into the warehouse a week before the sale. We're still getting them out to the stores. It starts at 10 a.m. local in store on the 13th. So that's in Toronto, Ottawa, Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver. It starts at 8 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time online, and we're gonna have some more content coming up this week to kind of get you prepped for the sale, show off more of the stuff. But we picked our favorite stuff that we have so far. We're gonna run you through it today, give you some sneak peeks. Yes. All right, so we're not gonna waste time. I'm gonna get into my favorite knife for the garage sale this year. This guy, the handle isn't even attached to this yet. Naoto's in the process of putting custom handles on a bunch of knives. But as soon as this guy came in, I had to take some photos and put it on Instagram. This guy, Nigara Hamono Yoshizawa-san, he is super passionate about making like just crazy Damascus. He's always trying something new. No two blades of his are alike when it comes to his Damascus stuff. And so I'm really excited about this. It's got a crazy handle that somehow we found a handle that matches the pattern of the blade and really works well with it. Can you tell me about this guy now, Took? I don't really know much else.
Well, this blade, as Nathan said, made by Go Yoshizawa-san, hand forged welded, 2 different types of steel, shirogami and aogami. Really popular 2 steels, forged welded, fold it, and make that the crazy layers of steel, right? So it is a coreless. There is no core.
Oh yeah, so if you look up really close on the edge of the knife, normally there's Japanese knives, there's a piece of steel, 2 pieces of steel on the outside and then 1 on the inside. And this guy is just 2 kinds of steel folded over and over and over, right?
Well, let me talk about my favorite.
Yeah, absolutely.
Toru Tamura-san, who used to work for us a long time ago, just before my time, okay? He came to Canada, worked for a knife shop, then went back and apprenticed under a few blacksmiths, like Kato-san and Shimizu-san. Yeah, right. He decided to move to Shikoku and started not his game, but more or less. Myojin-san is probably one of the best sharpeners out there. So those two
really freaking good.
Young but super talented blacksmith and sharpener collaborated. They've been working for coming up with something like this for a very long time. I was so excited when it came out. Super 3 or the Ginsan stainless steel, forged by Toru Tamura-san and sharpened by Myojin-san. So it's
a masterpiece.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
It's so good.
If you are looking for a first Japanese knife, these are probably the ones they may want to look at.
It's a really good place to start.
Which is the Tsunehisa branded knives. Tsunehisa knives are made by various different makers with such great quality control. Most of these are stainless steel or the stainless clad knives, so that's really easy to care for. Yeah. And they come with the various different looks too. And furthermore, they are all 20% off during the garage sale.
If you're looking for a gift, summer's coming up, wedding, birthday, grad, or just a knife for yourself, and like groceries are expensive, so you don't want to spend a ton of money. They are beautiful, which your knife should be. They are super functional for every day. Most of them are low maintenance or relatively low maintenance. And they're priced really well too. So kind of everything you want, I think, if you're just getting started.
Yeah, I love this particular one here. Yeah. The Tsunehisa Nijiroku.
It's stainless steel, so it's not gonna rust when I put it down and don't wash it.
Yeah.
And it's just a great little basic size.
Yeah.
It's good for throwing together a quick meal.
Yeah, and it's great, like SR13. It's the powder stainless steel, right? So it's going to keep its edge really nice and long as well. So, yeah.
We have a lot of cooks coming into the shop right now who are just finishing up their 2nd year of culinary school, going out into the industry. I think if you're on the line during service, that's the knife you want. Yeah. I also really like this combination here of the Western handle and that black burned Kurochi finish on the knife. Just super, like if you want a badass looking knife and you like a little more weight in the hand, more of that kind of German style handle, go for this guy.
And it's the Aogami Super Core too, right? Stainless clad. So.
Ooh, yeah, really, really hard steel. Not super hard to take care of though.
No.
Yeah, that would be a great contender for somebody's first Japanese knife.
Yeah. I want to talk about something that's really rare and also have the really nice story to it. This particular knife line here, this is actually brand new to us.
Okay, cool.
This blacksmith, and I guess blacksmith in the workshop's been around for quite some time, so a couple of centuries probably.
Oh, wow.
Right now, it's the grandfather, father, and son, 3 generations working together. We were familiar with Kumamoto, right? Because we deal with the
Moritaku's around there. Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, Kumon, the
Yeah.
little mascot guy.
But that particular city, Hitoyoshi, a couple of years ago, they had a terrible flood in that city, and their workshop was greatly affected as well. And they were forced to relocate after the flood. So they're going through a really hard time, and they're trying to come up with something to, sustain their business and stuff. This is when the company president of Sakai Kikumori went to see them and start to do the collaboration. So this particular Tsuchime pattern is very special for the Sakai Kikumori, and they kind of got together and they came up with a shape that they can work with. It's really nicely made. It's got really nice thick spine. Tsuchime makes the blade really nice and rigid.
Yep.
And the sharpening job, I was actually feeling that some of that thinness behind the edge. It's really, really nicely done. I'm really happy to be able to actually get some blades that's they have to go through such a hardship.
Yeah, it's nice to
natural
be able to support
disasters and stuff. So they have they are still in the same city.
Okay, cool.
But they had to rebuild from ground up to start their brand new workshop. So there are 4 shapes.
Okay, cool. That was my next
Kyuto
question.
210,
Yep.
Bunka,
Yep.
Nakiri, and Petty 150.
Nice.
So it covers the all basics, right?
Yeah, kind of all your everyday shapes and sizes. All right, here's another thing I'm excited about. This one in specific. Every year we get some knives without handles or knives that, have had to have their handles replaced. And so we put some really funky handles on them. And this is probably my favorite of the batch. We get these like crazy galaxy vaporwave looking handles that are just like beautiful dyed burl wood. Just stunning. I really like that they put like a horn spacer in here. Sometimes they use metal spacers and they can shrink and get a little weird.
Well, talking about weird handle, let's talk about this guy here.
Yeah, I love that one.
It's a Nigara. Ammon is their way of calling their unique pattern of Damascus. SG2. And this handle, the G10,
so for those who don't know, SG2 is a really hard stainless steel. We've been guilty of saying that high carbon steel stays sharp longer than stainless steel, and that was true for a very long time. SG2 is like way up there and just performs beautifully. That handle.
The handle, right? Like, it's crazy. The pattern, like we were looking at
it's
it.
Hypnotic.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so cool. Yeah, you can always count on Nigara Hamono to provide us some crazy stuff for the garage sale. They're actually going to be probably in a couple of our cities this summer, so stay tuned. We're going to have a few visits from Yoshizawa-san. All right, next up we have, I like this guy. This little guy, little Chinese cleaver. So we got the Sentan Shirogami Chinese cleavers earlier this year. They are made in China with Japanese steel, right? So kind of a fusion of the best of both worlds.
Well, I mean, some steels went to China and they produced knives, but this particular one is very rare because it is made with the white number 2 carbon core and stainless steel on the outside.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've never seen knives made in China with that kind of particular construction.
Yeah.
It is great construction. Yeah, we had the 200 millimeter version of this before, and they just released the 170 mil version of this, and it's super handy size too, right? It's got nice height to it. The 200 mil version had the all black finish. They kind of tried to get a little more like a Nashiji
very
finish.
Rustic kind of look. Yeah. Don't tell Colin, but I'm not a big Chinese cleaver fan because I find them too big. I like big Yutos, but not big cleavers. But this guy's perfect because like this is a cleaver I would use every day because it's the same length as a Nakiri, but it's taller, right? It's got 50% more height to it, and so it's perfect for like, again, big hands, bit of chopping, getting into some cabbage and stuff. What's next? What do you want to show off?
We don't get to talk about this particular blacksmith as often. This one here, made by a Nao Yamamoto-san of the Takefu Knife Village.
Oh, okay.
He is one of the senior members of a still young group of younger blacksmith.
Yeah.
But he is the little bit more like senior side. Like say compared to Yukurosaki, compared to someone like the Ikeda-san.
Yeah.
He started a little bit earlier than those people.
Cool.
Nao Yamamoto-san, he learned a lot of skills from different blacksmiths, including Azai-san, who passed, like a while ago. He is the only one who's allowed to use Azai-san's blacksmith's name as well.
Oh, really?
So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Azai-san was like such a great blacksmith.
Yeah,
but
he was incredible.
he had developed his own way of forging knives as well. So it's almost hybrid of the Takefu way of making knives and a little bit more like Sanjo way of making knives.
Cool.
What that means is that if you look, and I don't know if the camera can captures it, but it's got a really thick spine and tapers it down very nicely.
Yeah, a lot of the Takefu knives, like Masakage, I mean, I love them for how thin they are, but not everybody loves a super lightweight knife. Yeah, this guy's got a pretty beefy spine, honestly, but in a way that, feels confident without feeling too chunky. Yeah.
It tapers really nicely. Sharpening job is great. It's got a subtle convex grind. Aogami Super with the carbon steel Damascus cladding on the outside. So it's not like maintenance free, but it will patinas it really, really beautifully. We have Santoku and Petty and the Gyuto Tuten available for this time around. But I've always liked the way he forges knives. So I'm happy that we could actually talk about it. Anything that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I've been eyeing up a lot of stuff. This is, if we're talking about crazy rare stuff, this is truly one of a kind.
Ooh.
This is from Ken Kagura-san. So we used to, back when I started at Knifewear over a decade ago, we had a line called the Masakage Kujira, made by Kagura-san. Kagura-san's an extremely talented blacksmith who not a lot of people know these days, but he used to be quite well known. He takes old steel from ship's hulls and old tools and farm equipment and barn doors and stuff and forges it, right? Like folds it with other kinds of steel to create not the cutting steel, but the coarse or the cladding steel. And so he's recycling steel, which I think is super cool. But B, you get these crazy patinas on his knives right out of the box.
The different colors, because that the steels that he uses are from, as you mentioned, like scrap steels or the recycled steels. He finds them on his backyard or some like places like crazy, right? I mean, like they've been. It's not well known, but the Kagura-san's been making knives for, like, he is 20+ generation of blacksmith.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, he has enough things kicking around in this like workshop or his house.
A lot of old pieces of metal.
Exactly, right? So it's
Wow.
got some different colors going in and he folds the steel over and over. I've seen his video on folding the steel. It's like, it's crazy how talented he is. And
So skilled.
he doesn't really make kitchen knives anymore.
No, he doesn't really make much of anything anymore. They're stunning, and the photos you see on the internet won't do them justice because they're so intricate and gorgeous up close, and they only get more stunning the more you use them and the more they kind of patina.
Yeah. Let's talk about something that's like completely opposite, I guess. Not completely, but the super nice and cheerful, yes.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Like,
if you don't want a crazy fancy knife forged by a master,
yeah.
You just want like a kick-ass knife that
Kick-ass knife that works, yeah, right? Low maintenance, very cheerful. Tojiro Basics is the name of this knife.
Yeah.
It's, it's a basic. It's got a handle, it's got a blade, its edge is pretty nice and sharp.
It is a knife.
It is the VG10 stainless steel.
Cut.
It's pretty, pretty good steel for kitchen knives. This Tojiro's been making knives for quite some times, and we've been selling Tojiro. Used to be called DP, now they call it the Tojiro Classic
right?
series. They are really, really well made, right? Yeah. But they wanted to create something that's, well, I guess more basic, and this is their answer, right? Tojiro Basic. If you
it's
actually
like cheap and cheerful, like the word cheap kind of, you know,
Yeah.
means poor quality. I would say inexpensive and cheerful.
Yeah, inexpensive. Yeah.
Affordable and cheerful.
But this one here is actually really good.
It's just simple. It's
Yeah,
everything
exactly,
it needs to
right?
be. It's like, it's kind of like those Japanese K trucks.
Yeah, so really, like, you know, inexpensive and cheerful. A knife. It's great gift. It's I don't know if it's the great way to put it on YouTube, but it's like a gateway drug, right? It's if you want.
It is. Yep.
If you want someone to actually get into the Japanese knives, this is a great gift as well.
Yeah.
Right? Like.
Yeah, you want to spend less than $100, but you still want that quality and
Yeah,
performance.
exactly.
You're probably going to end up hooked and onto some of the harder stuff, but it's a really great way to start.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know if I can call it the traditional Japanese craft knives, but it is kind of.
I've heard Westerners explain this as it's almost like a Japanese X-Acto knife, except that you resharpen it. You know, for a while. Like it is something you would use for cutting cardboard, or maybe not this one in particular, but like it's a knife you can kind of just use for everything.
Exactly.
Right?
Like, people use it for, say, some cutting into bamboo. That's very like all-purpose, multi-purpose knife. This particular maker, Masuda-san from Masuda Kiridashi is the company's name in Sanjo. They are specialized in making kiridashis. It's stunning, and it's stunning how that the layer of steel is showing on the black part of that knife as well.
Yeah. I don't know how they managed to make that happen, but it's cool.
Yeah.
This doesn't have a box. So the first time and last time that we got Tinker Saber Teeth, we got a couple back when Shibata-san was in Calgary.
I think it's like about 210 millimeters long, but it's got a nice thicker spine to it. I can see like this be used for like anything like trimming meat, brisket. Yeah, it's like.
If you're making, if you buy a nice piece of fish and you're making sashimi at home, you don't need like a big long nagi, but this would be a great little slicer for at-home work.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have the manufacturing date stamped on the blade, like very unapologetically designed.
Yeah.
And we got kind of the smaller cousin to it as well. We got one of these. This is the Tinker Barracuda. This would make a pretty sweet set. If you're fast enough on the draw on the Monday, you could snag them both and have a pretty badass like butchering, deboning, and then slicing combo. Woo!
We've been getting knives from Yoshimi Kato-san for quite some time, and he's been producing a lot of like stunning finished knives, right? But this one here, it's like Vitsuchime and the Koishi had a baby type of stuff. So it is the Aogami Super stainless clad with super cool V Tsuchime, or the hammer pattern. Hand forged, it's got a really nice, thinner taper goes on the spine here. It's a stunner. I love how it actually came out. It's like really cool. I love how aggressive his
it's so intense.
The Kiritsuke is.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're seeing a lot more knives with this kind of like cut off tip, and I love it. All right.
Alrighty.
Intermission time.
What do you? Yeah.
A beautiful selection of small wares laid out for this garage sale.
It is, spring.
Yeah. The north half of the world.
Yeah, north
It's
half.
spring.
Yeah. These come super handy. I mean.
Yeah, pruning shears, right?
Like, yeah, these are just regular pruning shears, but this is so handy. Like, I have relatively small hands.
Yeah.
This can be adjusted how wide this opens.
Oh.
So like my small hand, this is too wide, so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna adjust it back to here.
Oh, very nice.
They have a little bit of spring mechanism right here that can be adjusted how.
Adjust the tension.
Yeah.
And really good for people who have maybe arthritis or just like, the whole gripping over and over thing is maybe a little hard on their hands.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why they call it the rakunan desu, which means it's easy, isn't it?
I like it.
It's
Cool.
super comfortable pruning shears. This more traditional like bonsai or the flower type of scissors, they come in 10 different colors.
Any plant you need to do some pruning on that's a little on the woodier side?
Yeah.
Thyme or rosemary, anything with a woodier, tougher stem?
Yeah, which you don't need this for, that kind of stuff, right? This is more like more bigger pruning, where that one's like, harvesting and stuff like that. I totally forgot. I randomly grabbed these guys. I should have grabbed a little bit more like brighter color. They come in 10 different colors.
You can see them all at knifewear.com.
Yeah, these are like they call it the irogami. Direct translation is the colored paper, but it is made by the Tsuboe, which we carry graters from. Traditional Japanese grater company that came up with this really nice palm grater that fits in your hand really nicely.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, a bit of parm, a little nutmeg maybe.
Yeah, exactly. This comes like it fits in your hand really nicely. It's got really subtle curves. Like it's,
yeah, a lot of products that say ergonomic aren't actually, and this like feels good.
It feels like fits in your hand and just like fits it. Like,
yeah, and it's easy if you want to, like if you're grading something really tough, you want to like grab onto it a little more, you could.
Yeah, so it's like really well made, well thought out, and it's pretty.
Nice. Yeah, it looks good.
Right? It's like.
Speaking of pretty, we got these guys in.
Yeah, the tenugui.
So tell me what a tenugui is.
Tenugui literally means a handkerchief, or the te is the hand.
Yep.
Nugui is to wipe, it's hand wipe. But this is really, we use for a lot of different purposes. I use tenugui for like cleaning purposes as well. Great dishcloth.
Yep.
For sure, because it's really nice and absorbent. It is not silk screen or printed, it is dyed. That is why you see the same print on the one side and the other.
Yeah.
Design also is something that they like to talk about. Aoi Huber, she's really famous designer who does like modern art and very traditional technique in the Sakai region, and they collaborated and made this beautiful tenugui. One of the things is that the traditional tenuguis, that the end of it is it's just cut.
It's just a live edge, yeah.
Yeah, so it will start to frail for a little while, and you keep cutting the frail part, and it will settle down. We grabbed this one. It's the fishbone tweezer. But this is designed by this dude.
Oh, I see.
Him. He is a kind of guru of ikejime in Japan. If you know any ikejime, the term ikejime is this: to treat the fish, like how to treat the fish. So he came up with the old techniques to do ikejime, and also great way to drain all the blood from the fish.
Yeah.
So
which helps it last a lot longer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So he's a real fish guy.
Yeah, he knows about fish.
Okay.
And he came up with this. He was like, he butchers the fish, like hundreds of fish, right? So he was like, he wanted to come up with some like good tool that he can use.
Fishbone tweezers.
Fishbone tweezers.
So yeah, if you do a lot of fish butchery, I mean those ends are super squared out. We got frisbees.
Yes.
Or a steak plate.
Yeah. Or chop plate.
Chop plate.
Chop plate. So this plate, I've known about this company, Kawabe Shokai in Osaka. They've come up with this plate. Plate was genius.
Yeah.
But they only made the smaller sizes. This very recently they made this size 26 centimeters, which is about regular dinner plate size.
It's a plate you can cut on.
What it's good about, yes, it's the almost like a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Than the regular cutting board material. It's like a cutting board material, and you can cut on it without dulling your knife.
Sky raised a good point. If you are a college student, you just need one plate, no cutting board. You just cut and eat your meals on this one surface. Yeah,
like the cheese. We wanted to give it a kind of, give it a try. I think it's great option.
Yeah.
As to serve some, steaks or fancy meals on, and it should look fancy enough. And it comes with this dinner plate size and one size smaller.
Oh, nice. What do we got next?
Alrighty.
Oh, this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They are really well known, and their intention is to produce knives that are good quality, but affordable for a lot of people. They were actually making some like two pillars, I guess. One's like a little bit more hand forged, the other one was like panched out. They had a little bit of, I don't want to call it leftovers, but some stocks left. This is one of the last batches of their hand-forged VG1 with the Damascus. It's really nice walnut handle. Nakiri with the Nashiji with the Damascus, and it's like really nice taper on the spine here.
Man, for your first knife, high performance.
Yeah.
It's the right price. It's stunning.
Hand-forged.
But yeah, that VG1 steel, sharp, but like not too delicate.
Because it's the last batch that we got, you probably won't see any of the hand-forged knives from Stai-san name. Satoshi Nakagawa is the guy.
He is the guy.
He's the guy. Satoshi Nakagawa-san, he's super talented young blacksmith out of Sakai. He apprenticed under the, I guess, legend Shiraki-san in Sakai, and he learned everything from him. And when the Shiraki-san retired, Nakagawa-san took over the workshop. Nakagawa-san, he likes to do pretty much everything.
Single bevel, double bevel, carbon, stainless,
Honyaki,
sanmai.
So this is really great illustration of his work here. One is under Sakai Kikumori, Sakai Kikumori wholesaler. He asked it. Nakagawa-san's forged the blade. This one here is the Ginsan, the stainless steel. So forged by Nakagawa-san, and leaves the really nice like tsuchime pattern.
Show the other side too, because it kind of illustrates a little more. It's almost a very random kind of
right?
You get all these kind of square and rectangle-ish shapes, but they're all going in different directions and different sizes.
Really well balanced. It's super nice thin blade, tall bevel. It does really great job. But as well, we have this guy here. And this was a great collaboration. This one, Nakagawa-san, Aogami #1 with Damascus on the outside, sharpened by the Myojin-san that I previously talked about.
Just so good at sharpening. So a lot of what we're showing today is going to be available both in store and online. Obviously, the one-of-a-kinds are going to be either or. But in every Knifewear store, again, that's Toronto, Ottawa, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, we have a whole bunch of refurbished knives. So earlier this spring, we did a knife trade-up program where people could bring in an old knife that maybe they're just looking for an upgrade and trade it in. And so those knives are going to be for sale at a discount. A lot of them are barely used and just in great shape. And and the ones that were a little rougher, we cleaned up and refurbished and made beautiful again. So each store is going to have totally unique stock, and then whatever doesn't sell later in the week, some of it will go online. So. Some pretty cool stuff. Definitely worth visiting the shops for that reason.
We'll have some we got some single bevel collections as well. Like I just brought one from Sakai Kikumori. They call it their regular lines. The Kikuzuki is their name of the line here. We don't have them all the time, but this is really cool. The Kikuzuki line with a Kasumi finish line here is really well made. Forged by Yoshikazu Tanaka-san, sharpened by the really well-known sharpener in Sakai as well. We have some Sakimaru Yanagi in like this size and it's longer. We have Yanagi, we have Kiritsuke. Like the Kikuzuki is the line so like compared to their like say Choyo line or the other Kikuzuki line, this looks a little bit more basic, but I mean fit and finish, how he sharpens it and how the blacksmith forges it, it's a top notch, right? So don't be fooled by just the look of this knife. It's incredible.
It's all about the function with this guy.
Right?
I got one more thing I want to show you guys. One sec. But this is the beauty. I gotta show this off. This is, if I'm not mistaken, Hatsukokoro Rainbow Damascus, right?
Yeah. It's forged by Nigara Hamono.
That doesn't surprise me at all. It's so cool looking. So we did a little poll on Instagram last week and just seeing what handle people thought we should put on. Now I'm pretty sure that the winner is this guy. I hope that's the winner. I gotta count up the votes, but I'm pretty sure we put it on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, and asked people what they thought. And I think this purple and blue one. I hope that's the winner because I really like that. But they're both stunning handles.
Yeah.
Woo!
This is the real stunner.
Sheesh, as the kids say. All right, so this is maybe the showstopper. We got some pretty nuts custom one-of-a-kind pieces this time around. This guy might take the cake.
Yeah.
It's got a glow, like a blue glow, like a force field. Pretty awesome.
It's Shoichi Hashimoto, the blacksmith, and he sharpens the blade as well. The Hashimoto-san he was a metal artist. He was a blacksmith, but he was more making at the art pieces. One of the suppliers convinced him to make kitchen knives out of it, but this particular piece is the masterpiece. One of his masterpieces for sure.
So those aren't layers of steel that you're seeing there, right? The texture.
It's the Shirogami #1, white #1 carbon steel Honyaki, which is just a single piece of steel. What you've seen like almost looks like a Damascus or layers of steel. It is the grain of the actual steel.
Man, every time I think this is going to be the best garage sale yet, like the next one blows my mind. Some of these one-of-a-kind pieces and some of the crazy value stuff that we have as well, I'm pretty excited about. And we still got stuff coming in, right? So we're a week away, but there's still stuff showing up in the warehouse. Well, if you want to see more, of this stuff up close, the full lines, and you want to see everything that shows up last minute, we're going to be live this Friday, May 10th, from about 12 to 4 Mountain Daylight Time. We're going to be answering questions, helping you kind of pre-shop so that you know what you want on Monday morning, as well as just showing off. We got an unboxed sale. We actually have to set it up in our warehouse for our live stream on Garage Sale Monday. And so we're going to be setting it up along with you live so you can tune in, hang out, ask your questions, get help finding the right knife before things kick off. Tune in. We hope to see you there on YouTube Live. Without further ado, hope you enjoy the Knifewear Garage Sale. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Peace.
You know what?
Like anything from the cart, dear?